So I was raised in a Jehovah's Witness family, and from all of the things that came from that upbringing, I really had a lot of disdain for religion and God, and it resulted in me being an outspoken atheist for all of my adult life. About 2 years ago, met a coworker who is just always at peace, and it always amazed me that no matter what she's going through in her life, she's always happy and joyful. And I knew that she was like going through some hard things. So she kind of started really quietly witnessing to me. She knew I was not a believer. So she wasn't trying to change my mind or anything like that. She just was sharing her life and really started softening my heart a lot. And I kind of at some point realized that maybe I did believe in God, but I wasn't ready to admit that, I guess. And unbeknown to me, my husband had the exact same thing happening at his job with one of his buddies. I finally got up the courage to tell him that I decided I wanted to go to church. I thought he was going to think I was crazy. Told him I didn't expect him to go with me or anything like that. I just wanted him to not give me a hard time, basically. And that's when he told me that he actually felt the same way, and he had been trying to figure out how to tell me that he also wanted to go to church. I'd like to check out this church of this girl that I work with. And he said, yeah, of course we can do that, but I want to check out this church of this guy that I work with. They don't know each other. So we both went to work and got the information from our friends on where we were going to go to church, and they both attend Access. The day that we decided we were going to come to church the first time, Alan woke up with a migraine, and he really truly couldn't get out of bed. So I almost didn't go, but I had told my friend that I was going to be there. At that point, it was more about keeping my word to my friend than it was about going to church. I went by myself. The whole way there, I just was really struggling with these thoughts of not belonging, like just kept playing in my head, like, you've lived this life and you've been so outspoken as a non-believer, you just don't belong here at all. And I almost turned around. It was really hard for me to make myself go to church the first time. I felt so weird and so out of place. And then I got there, and of course they sit in the front row, which was like the worst. But I was there, I'm in the front row of this church, I have no clue what I'm doing here. And I was just so uncomfortable and out of place, and felt like there's no way that I could ever, overcome the things that I've done in my life. And that's when Pastor Jason gets up and starts the message, and it says that he is starting this new series on the book of Romans. He gave some background information on Paul, who wrote the book of Romans. And he said there, if you're here in this place and you think that your life, you've done so many bad things, or you feel like you don't belong here, or that God could never forgive you, let me tell you about your boy Paul. And he kind of explained that he was Saul and he was a terrorist. And he said, so if you're here and you're thinking that you're so bad, let me just ask you if you've ever murdered any Christians lately. And that really was, it was just the word that I needed that day. So fast forward, in July, I made the decision to get baptized, and told my kids I was getting baptized, and they decided that they wanted to be there with me just as out of support. Two of my 3 kids were non-believers, but they just wanted to be there because it was important to their mom. So the night before my baptism, my son was asking why I was getting baptized. He didn't understand. So I explained to him that, for me personally, that, it really was symbolic of me being all in with Christ. If anyone would have asked me a year ago where I would be today, nobody would have ever thought that I would be a Christian, that I would be attending church regularly. I lived my life so far removed from God for such a long time. I would have never guessed that this is where I would be. And now, a year later, I've been baptized. My daughter, my husband and my kids are all attending church with us regularly. Our daughter just got baptized this last time on Baptism Sunday. Nobody would have ever expected this, but I am so grateful that God's changed my life the way that He has.